What's happening, guys? Welcome to Around the NFL. This is a show that Jamie and myself started about a year ago. This is basically like the season premiere. This is a show where it doesn't matter if you're a Bucks fan, Cowboys fan, Redskins fan, whatever fan of team that you are a part of. And I know my audience is heavy on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I encourage you guys to stick around. We have a lot of cool stuff going on. So without further ado, let me bring in these guys because without these guys, this show wouldn't happen at all. And we actually have a new co-host of the show that I'm excited to bring in, former Dallas Cowboys running back, Mr. Troy Hambrick. Guys, how are we doing today on this beautiful Thursday? We all woke up today. We're alive. We're getting ready to talk about football. It is literally around the corner. How is everybody doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the state of Florida, enjoying this good weather, and the evening is winding down.
Right, can't beat that. Jamie, how we doing, buddy? We're back. This is it. We're back, bro. Football's back, my friend.
First show of the 26th season. Oh man, so much. How many days a week am I texting you something? I'm like, this is so insane. We got to cover this on the next show. We got to talk about this one.
Yeah, but at least this time around, guys, we're going to be a little bit more organized. Jamie, like me and you were having like a little production meeting yesterday. I'm trying to get more professional with it, asking your input and stuff like that. And it's just, it's cool because like I said, guys, we have a great show lined up for you guys. Shout out to everybody joining us on TikTok. Sorry, you guys can't see them right now. If you come to the YouTube channel, the Frozen Pirate Podcast, we are live right now. Just TikTok and StreamYard is doing some funny things. So there's a lot of stuff to get through. But we have a great show on tap for you guys. A lot of cool segments that Jamie, myself, and Troy are going to be talking about. Segment we're going to be doing under pressure, teams, players, coaches. Who's under pressure this year coming up in the 2026 season. Also, we have another cool segment that we're doing with familiar faces and new places. We have Jamie's trivia. Jamie's trivia is back that I can't stand because I don't get any of like some of the Troy. You're gonna see some of the trivia that this kid shoots out. You're gonna be like, they stump you. They stump you.
Yeah, and then, I'm starting really easy this season. We're gonna go real gentle out of the gate.
Do the transition, man, easy. And also, we have another cool segment. Would you bet on it? NFC South edition, where Ralph from Damn U2 Sports Talk is going to be joining us. He's a Carolina Panther fan. We do State of the South throughout the season, but we have a really good show lined up. Guys, let's get right into it. Familiar faces and new places. A little bit of movement, guys. This offseason, some crazy stuff with Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson. Jamie, I'll start off with you. Trey Hendrickson, familiar face and a new place. What do you make of this?
Well, we've been talking about this move for 3 or 4 years. It seemed like he was never leaving.
Right.
And then with the Crosby thing happening, it was like, oh, okay. I mean, look, I thought that was a great move for him. And then there was sort of, we can talk about, did he fail the physical? Did he not? That seems to be, I don't know. I mean, I feel like from NFL, sort of veteran NFL people, you heard a mix of things. Some people said this is gamesmanship from the team. Some people said, no, every medical team evaluates these things differently. One medical team may see the same data as another team and come to a different conclusion. As far as does this change what happens with the Ravens this year? It helps, but the real questions on the Ravens are going to be on offense, right?
Right. Troy, would you make of this move? Because like I said, everybody was kind of taken back. We thought Max Crosby to the Ravens, and everybody was just like, okay, like that's a good defensive piece for the Ravens. Supposedly he failed his injury. I mean, some type of physical.
Yep.
And Trey Hendrickson comes in. What did you think about that?
Well, I was, for them to make so much noise about it initially, I thought it was a great move. I'm questioning, when do Baltimore see Cincinnati again? Why won't you trade them into another division or another conference? So that was, a ball in the air to me of saying, how am I trading back? It's just like the Joe Flacco scene, a couple of years ago, I think, where they ended up trading him over and going against him. I think I'm speaking right. So yeah, I was hoping that Cincinnati shipped them a little farther out.
Yeah, it's strange because that division is probably arguably, guys, one of the toughest divisions in football. I love to watch that division, the Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers. Like it's the black and blue division. It is because it does.
Whoa! Come on, you say that to a Bears fan? Come on,
Nah,
please.
it's arguably the black and blue division of the AFC. We'll say that. How's that? Can we do that?
Sure. Honorable mention, yeah.
Honorable mention. Me personally, I just thought they did Max Crosby dirty, man. I get the guy failed a physical, but I'm curious what that physical was. You know what I'm saying? Like what was the injury that entitled for them to pull the move that
it was something in a knee, right?
Yeah, it was his knee. But the crazy part is, bro, he was in the building, Jamie, and then this trade happened while he was exiting the building.
Yeah, I mean, this was a weird one. This was one of those ones that off season, like you and I blowing each other's phones up, like, what do we got going on here?
Yeah,
because these are two players that really for the last at least 2, but probably 3 off seasons, everyone's been saying they got to go, they got to move. With Cincinnati, it was cap space, and with the Raiders, it was why would anyone want to play on this team if you're good?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it just kind of it was a strange situation. Like I said, it's just weird seeing Troy Hendrickson in a Ravens uniform going up against the Bengals now. He's going to be Joe Burrow. Like, that's going to be weird. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's their problem. This one's right up your alley, Troy. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, man, the third, goes on to the Kansas City Chiefs, leaves the Super Bowl team, okay, to join the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll start with you, Troy. You being a running back, why did he make this move? He was on a Super Bowl team. Arguably, he could. I get the division's tough, but you as a running back, you played. What's your take on this? What would make him make this decision?
Well, I think the running back room situation, I don't think that Seattle might have valued him like he wanted to be valued there in that offense. I think they got the veteran quarterback down in Kansas City that preserves Kenneth Walker's decision with Mahomes getting the extra 2 years on his contract. And he got the most guaranteed money at $522 million. Why wouldn't I want to go to Kansas City? Why wouldn't I want Mahomes to hand the ball off to me?
Right.
I.e. Dalton. I think that's I drew a brain fart. But i.e. in Seattle. I think Seattle got a couple more. I think they're going to be a thorn team regardless. I think Kansas City ready to slow it down with Mahomes and his knee injury. I think they'll slow it down a little bit and try to revamp their offense through a good, strong running game.
Yeah. Jamie, what's your take on it?
All of those great points. I hadn't really considered that aspect of looking at how Mahomes' career may be shuffling and conversations they may have had with Walker bringing him in, like, hey, listen, this isn't going to be the 2024 Chiefs offense. Other things worth noting here is I think what you said was absolutely correct. Is it doesn't seem like the team placed a ton of value on him up in Seattle, and that's not to say that Seattle's a bad team or doing the wrong thing, but they have all these pieces, they have all these weapons, and one of the hardest things to do is preserve a Super Bowl winning team in a way that's truly competitive the next year. I mean, it's one of the hardest sports on earth to repeat a championship in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's part of it. I also wonder if, obviously this is a little bit of a joke, but not entirely. But Mahomes is missing the first few games of the season, right? First 4, first 6, something like that. We don't know for sure.
Right. Yeah. I believe he's missing. I mean, like I said, these things are strange because remember Chris Godwin with the Buccaneers, they said he was supposed to miss this whole 7 games and then I don't know what happened. They rushed him back. Hopefully the Chiefs don't do that with Mahomes, but I think it's looking like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on it.
A little different, right? As wide receiver 2 versus, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right.
And, the Chiefs do have a closing window as far as, a chance to win another Super Bowl here. So who is handing him the ball off for the first few games?
Yeah, that's true. I think
who they brought in, right?
They brought in whatchamacallit.
Hold on. I'll give you a hint.
Justin Fields.
Oh, bear down, baby.
Justin Fields.
I mean, I do wonder. I mean, if you're looking at, you're looking at over a third of the season, how does that affect your decision? How does that affect, and how different is the game plan going to be? I mean,
right.
Justin Fields versus Mahomes, wildly different game plan, skill set, etc.
Right.
So I wonder if he doesn't look at, the first part of the season and say, man, we can do this RPO stuff, because Fields, even a few years into his career, still a massive running threat, still going to be one of the most athletic guys out there. So
you think Justin Fields is going to be like I got to ask you, Troy, and I'll ask you since we're on this topic. Justin Fields on the team, Mahomes going to be missing some games. What's your take on Justin Fields under Andy Reid? Do you think we're going to see a reemergence of how Justin Fields is supposed to play quarterback? Because like I said, I think the kid's got a tough break. I think going into Kansas City and him getting this opportunity, I think he has a really good opportunity to shine. Yeah.
That's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you. I had to log back in, getting calls.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I don't think Justin Fields is the answer. I think he has some veteran attributes about himself, about playing the game. But when I think of Justin Fields, I think of Justin Fields as a maybe tutoring a rookie coming in. But to come in and fill the shoes there at an Andy Reid offense, I've never seen Justin Fields have the tools in my eyes.
No, I think maybe I'm biased as a Bears fan, but what a bad situation for his career to start in. Totally incompetent Bears leadership, didn't know how to use him, changing coaches on him, changing front office, changing everything, and then to have to go to the Jets. You could put the 55, 56 best football players that ever live in the absolute prime of their careers. You put them on the Jets, they're winning 4 games. It's the Jets. That's what they do. Like ever since the name of So what I was saying, I think you had disconnected here. So what I was saying was, I'm curious how much it affected his thoughts going there, Kenneth Walker's thoughts going there, that the first 4, 6, 7 games, somewhere in that range, it's going to be Justin Fields instead of Mahomes. Are we, it's Andy Reid. He's going to have a plan, right?
Right.
So are we talking about some really fun RPO stuff?
Right.
Fields had games where he threw for like 60 yards last season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well, if I can chime in here, I think we're going to see a reemergence of Justin Fields. I think we're going to see a really good. I think Justin Fields. I really do. I think Justin Fields is going to have himself a really good. How can I say?
Okay, well here let me put this out here, guys.
I think
what's the closest?
Fields,
what's the closest scenario we can think of to this? Right, it's got to be
when Brady
got.
Games.
It's got to be when Brady got caught the 4-game suspension, right?
Right.
For Deflategate, and so Jimmy G was his backup and played great, and then he got hurt, and Jacoby Brissett came in and played great. Both of those guys in a 4-game stretch turned that into NFL longevity, right?
Yeah.
So I think the best case scenario for Justin Fields is not that he becomes the starting quarterback at the Chiefs. That's not going to happen.
No, I what I'm saying is I think
what it is he gets a Sam Darnold situation, right?
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, also a recovering Jet, right?
Yeah.
So you have these guys that they might be talented, but they were dealt such bad hands, mediocre to poor coaching staffs. And Fields, remember, he came out when he was, I think, 21. So this is a guy who might be a 6-year veteran.
Yeah. But does he have the tools? Does he have the tools? I'm wondering. A lot of coaches are looking for the guys that have those attributes. I don't see where Justin Fields filled in that to give him too much more time besides him being a 6-year, 7-year vet. I don't see it. I don't see where I can say, hey man, I can count on him.
Yeah, but
I think this is the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
This is because if this doesn't go well, it's just done.
Yeah,
right?
It's over. You're just
because you don't even want a guy like that as a backup quarterback. Because here's the thing, and this is, I think, what a lot of people slept on when he was at the Bears. Guy throws a great deep ball. The problem was decision making across the middle of the field. The problem was holding the ball for way too long, because he'd done everything with his feet for so long.
Prefer to do it with his feet. That's exactly right.
Exactly, and that had always been his sort of survival mechanism. And I truly believe if you had put him with a serious coaching staff, then he could have had a shot. But to start at the Bears, and then, I mean, look, he played well at Pittsburgh, but they went with Russell Wilson, right? He went, what, 3-1?
Yeah, but you talking about important. Yeah, since Big Ben in Pittsburgh, I don't know too much more we can talk about throwing the football. Aaron Rodgers got a 50-year-old arm. I don't know who. I don't remember who's been the quarterback, elite quarterback there in Pittsburgh since Big Ben.
Right.
It's a good point. They really never replaced him, did they?
Right.
No.
So I got Justin Fields and Kyler Murray from the Cardinals. They're in the kind of the same boat with me. When will you show up? Is the pressure on? Is it time to find out? Do you stay or you depart? Those guys are in those question mark years for me.
This is going to be one of the hardest sentences I've ever said on this show. If I had a choice, I would want Kyler Murray on my team over Justin Fields. It breaks my heart to say, but
Amen.
Well, speaking of breaking hearts, man, this one right here, another familiar face in a new place. Mike Evans. So guys, let me take the lead on this one here.
The Buccaneers fans got to be hurt.
Yeah.
Look, let me just say this.
Look like you pick up a beer can.
Yeah. When do we get sponsored? Put that down.
Look, so we've been working 4 10-hour days at work to have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, which is beautiful in the construction industry.
I'm not saying don't drink a beer. I'm saying no one catches free advertising space.
Yeah, it's all good. Good luck, man. That's what I gotta say to Mike. Look.
Well, that sounds good, brother.
Mike Evans.
Does it, right?
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
Listen, hey, cheers to you guys. First episode of Around the NFL. Couldn't have a better casting crew here. Listen, I'm happy for Mike, but I will say this. The Buccaneers are going to be just fine without Mike. Mike Evans is going to be just fine without the Buccaneers. He has an opportunity here, and a lot of people, there's some hate going his way. Other people are disappointed. I'm not disappointed. This is a business. You know what I'm saying? You take a look at that wide receiver room. Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, Ted Hurst, Emeka Ibuka, Tez Johnson. There's not enough to go around. And I think Mike finally understood that. And Baker, I'm going to admit this, Baker was forcing the ball to Mike a lot when Mike was in the game.
Yeah.
And now you have an opportunity. You see an emerging star in Emeka Ibuka. You see Tez Johnson. I mean, I'm not saying he's wide receiver 1, but what I'm saying with Tez is he's going to shock some people with some of the big plays he makes. It may be one catch for 40 yards on a crucial third down. It could be a kick return, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's not I wouldn't say a gadget player, but he can play the slot. I know that's
explosive.
Role. Yeah, he can be explosive. He showed it last year with I don't like him doing all those backflips.
Yeah.
He's got to chill out with that. But I mean,
that stuff makes me nervous every time. You're like, you're making so much money.
Then,
don't mess with your money.
Yeah. And then you see Ibuka, and we see what type of human being he is. His route running is unbelievable. Like, he's only going to get better. Those kids out of Ohio State, man, they're pro ready. Those receivers that they're pushing out there, they're pro ready. Jamie, let me get your take on this. Are the Buccaneers fine without Mike Evans? Familiar face in a new place. And is Mike Evans fine without the Buccaneers?
It depends what you mean by fine. Are they going to win more than one playoff game?
I think the Buccaneers are better off with Mike.
I think they'd be better with another year with Mike. I think the problem with a player getting 1,000 yards every single season is that that's all people think about. And would they play? Would the team have a better record? Would they be more competitive? Would they be a more difficult offense to cover if he was only getting 800 yards a season? At this point in his career, yeah, probably, because you don't need to be forcing it in, right? You have other options. I mean, how many of those 1,000-yard seasons did they have a legitimate second threat? I mean, it wasn't really until Godwin showed up that you would consistently had a number 2 guy that people really had to worry about. So, but the problem is people get hypnotized by that, right? 1,000 becomes the magic number. 999 is unacceptable. The team let them down. 1,001, it doesn't matter that we only won 7 games, right? So, I think the NFC South is in a massive state of flux right now. I think that they're probably changing more than any other division in football as far as bottoms moving to the top. We don't know who's going to be in the middle. And honestly, next year you pick any of those 4 teams and you put them anywhere first through fourth, and I'm not shocked.
Yeah. We got a comment here from Icewater Olson on the YouTube. Shout out to him. Smash that like button, man. Bucks will be fine without Evans. Better with Mike, but still very good without him. Deepest wide receiver room in the NFL. I don't know about deepest. I would put them in top 10 because they're all so young. Yeah, they got the talent.
They got the talent. They got the talent, but it's called NFL for a reason. And
not for long.
And you got a defense over there that's suspect, that's revamping. I think they're one of the
Troy's gonna go. Troy's gonna go in on the Bucks because he went in. If you guys haven't seen that interview with Troy and myself at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, he went in on the Bucks, and we're gonna get to the Bucks later on in the show, guys. Stay tuned, and he's gonna give you your some stuff. So, I'm sorry to interrupt, but go right ahead, man.
Yeah, you're fine. So, we're speaking on Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans has gotten tender over the years, and every little bump hurts. So, his availability has become suspect. So they did the best thing that they could do is ship him off. Will the Bucks
You're
be
not
fine?
wrong.
Will the Bucks be fine without him? Will the Bucks be fine without him? I don't know if the Bucks gonna be all right regardless. So I don't see much success coming out of the Buccaneers this year. So Mike Evans did the same thing that Lynch did. He went for the West Coast. Will it help San Francisco? I think so. I think his availability for about 10 games a year will propel them into the playoffs. I think they'll run deep in the playoffs if everybody can stay healthy.
Well, let me say something real quick here while we're talking about not just what this means for Tampa Bay, but what this means for the 49ers, right? Who the 49ers' best wide receivers been over the last 3 or 4 years?
I mean, they had Deebo Samuel.
I think Brandon.
Ayuk.
Yeah.
Ayuk. Yeah, right.
Ayuk.
So what they've had is they've had guys that produce a lot, and then the second the season is over, they produce off-season drama at an unreal rate. Yeah. This isn't just normal wide receiver diva stuff. This is Willie or won't he? This is he's leaving. He's not. You guys saw what Ayuk said 2 days ago, right? The second they cut me, I'm signing with the Commanders. Bro, you're still on the team.
Yeah.
How are you announcing your next team? You're still on the team, right? So what do you get with Mike Evans? You get a guy that stuck with the Buccaneers through thick and thin, guy who never complains to the media, guy whose personal life doesn't leak out, doesn't have problems in that way. So yes, he's high production. Yes, and I agree with you. He's going to be more prone to getting hurt now, as anybody is at this stage in their career, and got the mileage he's got on him, right? But what you got is a wide receiver one that you don't have to worry about. In week 6, the biggest problem, instead of being on Sunday, is on Wednesday.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, getting to practice.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem we had with Mike, and I love Mike Evans. I have a lot of respect for Mike. He's right up there with Derek Brooks, of all-time greatest Buccaneers. But the problem with Mike was you would see him throughout the game. He'd make a big play, and instead of working off that momentum, it's, man, I got to go to the sideline. It's like, no, man, you got to carry that momentum, and we haven't seen that with Mike. And look, I don't want to spend too much on Mike Evans because we have all season to talk about Mike. I hope him the best. I agree with you, Troy. I think he's going to get maybe 10 games. I think they can get 10 solid games out of him, and there's no pressure for him to play a full season. He's just got to get them into the postseason. That's it. There's no 1,000 yards.
It's the 49ers. No starter has played a full season on that team in 7 years. It's the most injured team in history.
Yeah, right. and so that'll get followed down in the segment because I have San Francisco being one of those teams that comes up short. You know, so we'll get on down in the segment. All
right, man. Here's the next guy. Jamie, he's gonna be in another segment we're gonna do, but familiar face with AJ Brown. How about we skip this?
Yeah.
All right. Because it's gonna
claw
be
the time back. Claw the time back.
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna skip that. Later on, we got some AJ Brown talk, but this next gentleman is going to tie into our next segment as well. So Myles Garrett, familiar face in a new place. What are you thinking, guys? Troy, I'll start off with you. What do you think about this move here by the Rams?
Man. It's been for a couple years now. Myles Garrett has overexcelled in a lot of areas, and I think the team owed him this. I think the team should have honored that and made that trade for him to get out of Cleveland. Cleveland don't have nowhere to go right now, and they're not playing for nothing. So
Yeah.
When
know,
do
it's
they
all,
ever have somewhere to go though?
yeah. So that's what you do, Cleveland. You honor your guy. You don't run him out. He'll be back in the Hall of Fame there soon in Cleveland, but. You give him a chance to go for that Super Bowl run, and he deserves it. And I like the way Ma go about his business. And I think the Rams have just gotten themselves back in competition with Seattle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's scary because I'm not like completely like, oh, the Rams are gonna win the Super Bowl, but I'm gonna say one thing. I did tell Buck fans on the Buccaneers Breakdown Show every Sunday at 7 p.m. with me and DJ Ups. I did say, listen, the Buccaneers have to make a move or they have to do something, because if you're going to compete for that NFC Championship, if that's the goal to make it to the NFC Championship, you're going to have to acquire somebody else. You're going to have to, I don't care if you got to bring in another receiver, you got to bring in another running back, you got to bring in somebody else on defense. A lot of people are like, oh, we're pretty good on defense. I get that, but it's very young defense. I don't care if you got to bring in a Joey Bosa. You got to make a move. Because the Rams are all in. You know what they say? Excuse my language. They say, fuck them draft picks. They don't care about that. They want to win football games. Right. Yeah. What's the saying, Troy? If you're scared, go to church. The Rams ain't scared, man. The Rams ain't scared. The Rams ain't scared. They're all in. Sean McVay, I have a lot of respect for that organization and him, because he's not afraid to gamble draft picks. He's not. And it's panned out.
To be fair, this is not a gamble. This guy is one of the most certain players that you could possibly get. I mean, he was on the worst team in football, and for a couple of years in there had
breaking
them
the sack record, dude.
Right, and for a couple of years there had them top 3 defenses. I mean, people forget that they actually snuck into the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah, they were really good.
And I couldn't tell you anyone on that team other than him.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly true, and I'm the Rams are right there for the Super Bowl. They're right there for the Super Bowl. And I think one more defensive play, they would have got through. So, great move. I like the way they honored letting him out and, give him opportunity. I think he has another 3 or 4 years in him. And I think he's going to cause havoc.
Well, that's going to transition us into our next segment. Jamie, you got something you want to say, or you want to go into...
No, I was just going to drag the show out a little bit longer with one of my Jamie jokes by saying that
it's almost time for Jamie trivia too.
For the last 40 years, the only good thing that the Browns have ever done is let people leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think Cincinnati is right there with them.
But y'all say that.
But
listen, the Brown fans are going to take offense to that. Look. I actually
the Brown fan. They got to be like one of them left.
No, that's a loyal fan base. That's got to be a loyal fan base, man. The dog pound. Right? They pack that place. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL, and you know what I'm saying. They pack that place. You take a look at the Buccaneers. Take a look at the Bucs. Right, even with a Super Bowl winning team, you see opposing teams.
That's
jumping in.
That's Florida, dude.
Yeah,
that's Florida.
Yeah, but
look at the Tampa Bay Rays. They're selling 20,000 tickets going into the World Series. Like,
yeah, that was a long
just don't
time
go to sport.
ago. Well, Troy, let me ask you, because you've played in the NFL. You've played with the Dallas Cowboys. You putting on that Dallas Cowboys helmet. Like we talked about this. There's like an honor about that for some reason. Like the Dallas Cowboys, like America's team. But let me ask you, what is it like for you if you're walking out of a tunnel, right, and you have a home game? And I asked Ian Beckles this, and I want to ask you, because I'd like to ask all you guys, what is it like for you knowing that your team is successful, but yet when you walk out of that tunnel to start the game, 50% of the fans are the away fans? Is that kind of demoralizing? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, you're at home. You have a home game. Yeah. Do you guys feed off the energy of the crowd? Like, is that just kind of like whatever? That's a myth. Is that true? Like,
I think when you become when you become active on I can say a 53-man roster or a 46-man roster on game day. When you go out on that field, man, it's just you and them guys. You're not, in my mind, it's just a myth because you're not worried about what's in the stands. I think if you have the right preparation during the weekday and the right game plan, man, you go in, focus and focus on what your assignments are, and to bring that W to the locker room. Them fans, you usually don't hear them they say something, but it'd be too loud.
Right.
So, I really don't. I've never been the one to worry about the stands. So,
All right. I mean, like I
What
said,
about
because
what about if the game is quiet? Is that unsettling? Because you also played at the Cardinals, right?
yeah.
And that is not as rabid of a fan base. My wife is from around there, and her family is
Right.
from around there. And
Yeah.
you almost never meet anyone there that's like diehard fan of the local teams.
Yeah, and that's different. And I be thinking all the time, like, man, Troy, why you don't give Cardinals no love? You did get a year and a half down there, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like man, you're out in the desert. You're out in no man's land. You know where these people come from. So,
Well, we're all
yeah.
transplants as part of it,
Even
right?
when you come out with even when you come out the Cardinals, you're not. You're worried about you and those guys that's on the field. And it's never about people in the fans.
Gotcha.
yeah, it's just like I said, I always wondered about that because like a lot of Buck fans, they always talk about it. Like we got to show up, and shout out to our guy DJ Ups. He talks about it. I do like to see the stadium packed though, because I don't know, like it's just because like when I was a kid growing up, watching those Monday night games, you've seen those Buccaneer flags flying. Now it's just like you see a sea of green for the Eagles, but I get it. All right. So Myles Garrett with the Rams, obviously he's going to make an impact if he's healthy. They're talking about Aaron Donald maybe coming out of retirement. I don't know if I see that. But Jamie, you had this take with the Rams. We're going to stay on the topic with the Rams. So the controversy is they pulled an Atlanta Falcons move where they drafted Michael Penix.
No, absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. They didn't just sign Stafford for $120 million a month before the draft. Stafford has been their guy for many years now. This is I hate to say this because it's going to result in me saying something positive about Green Bay. But this is a Green Bay move where they have a legendary Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback, and they go, it's not this year. It's probably not next year. But in 2 to 3 years, that's going to be it. And they're actually planning for it. They actually, and the thing is with, I'm biased because I'm a Bama fan, but getting a guy like Ty Simpson, who got a ton of media exposure, we know who he is. He's not going to be the chomping at the bit. How come I'm not out there, coach? I'm the guy. He's going to listen to the senior guys. He did it at Bama, right? He sat on the bench for 3 years at Bama.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then tore the hell out of it when it was time to play. And so he showed like, let me practice, give me preparation, let me get reps, and let me sit, let me learn for a few years. And, I think he's the right guy for it. I think, you take a guy, obviously then we're going to get Mendoza anyway, but you take a guy like Mendoza, it's pretty clear that Mendoza should be starting like as soon as humanly possible, right? It's just the way he's wired. I think they said they're probably going to give him until November or so. But, Louie and I were texting about this. When was the last time you had a team that had a legitimate, no question, Super Bowl winning starting quarterback, and then the team drafted a quarterback in the first round?
You have the Atlanta Falcons who pulled that with Michael Penix.
Right, but they didn't have a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback. They had a guy they just signed a month earlier.
And a lot of those guys take offense to those you got from the quarterback that high.
Exactly. And the last time that I can think of that, the last time that I can think of that happening, and the guy did take a lot of offense to it, but it worked out pretty well for the team in the long run, was the Packers. They drafted Jordan Love, first round, 26 overall pick. And you guys remember Rodgers was leaking to the media like crazy and whining and crying, and he's not going to back him up. I'm just here to help the team win. It's not my job to teach him, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And, it was a bad look, but that's because Aaron Rodgers is a bad person.
So one thing with Jamie, he does not.
Troy, I am a hater.
The hate runs deep with Bears and Packer fans. I don't understand it. I mean, I get it. Even I'm like, fuck the Saints. I can't stand the Saint fans, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's just like
I have continued to hate Aaron Rodgers from team to team. That is true.
Yeah,
out
so
following around
like,
the NFL just being a hater.
yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's a strange situation. I mean, you have Matthew Stafford there, and to do what you did, it almost feels like McVay was kind of like a little. I don't think he wanted that pick. I think there was something where he wanted to go in a different direction, but it is what it is. Let's go in another direction here. You also wanted to talk about the supplemental draft. What a big
draft? There is none.
Yeah, what a big fuck you, huh?
Troy, have you been following this one with the Sorsby stuff?
No, yes, I have. I've snitched some bits of it, and now it won't be a supplemental draft for him, So yeah, I've been following it, but not really. You got everybody.
So,
you got everybody and their mama out there betting on everything. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of not when. It's not a matter of why. It's when they're gonna catch them. So
yeah,
it's a tough call. The market is wide open. You got these kids with these NIL deals. They got money. They got lucrative stuff coming through. Hell, they already balling like they already in the NFL, like they've earned a spot in a roster already.
So he had I think he had a $5 million NIL deal.
Yeah.
Right. That's more than he's going to make first round pick in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. And if he falls to the second, that's double what he's going to make.
Yeah.
The flip side of it is,
Jr. say before he got drafted? Sorry to cut you off. What did Marvin Harrison Jr. say about playing for Ohio State? He goes, I could stay another year at Ohio State and make what, $10 million? Is that what he said?
Probably.
That's crazy.
I mean, and so, while we're talking about Cincinnati, Sorsby was lured down to Texas Tech from Cincinnati with that massive NIL deal. It's an interesting thing, right? If there's one thing we know about the NCAA is they love saying one thing and showing their morality in a different way, right? It's for the purity, it's for the goodness of the game. Oh, the goodness of the game brought to you by FanDuel and DraftKings. Right? How much money is the NFL making off of betting sites?
Yeah.
I think a lot of this is Goodell basically saying, hey, listen, we said no, don't force this. And they were kind of trying to force it. And Goodell's basically saying, this is my league. Shut up.
Yeah.
I think some of it is also, I feel like the NCAA feels like it's lost control, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't want the NIL stuff. They didn't want these players to be able to make money. And then now they can. And then they didn't want Sorsby allowed to play. And that judge in Texas stepped in and said, well, actually, he's allowed to get eligibility. And so then the Big 12 said, we won't play Texas Tech. We'll cancel games. We'll eat the fines, whatever. And obviously that wasn't individual schools making that decision. That decision was coordinated from above. And then, this kid kept slipping through to her. And from what I can tell, he has talent, but nobody was talking about him this way until he got caught gambling, which means he's not as talented as people are saying he is.
That's exactly right. I haven't heard nothing about his numbers yet.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
So,
the only stat I know on him is $90,000.
That's all I.
Yeah. Again, this
did he hit the parlay?
that's an even better question. Did he win?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, come on. Jeez. Speaking of parlays, man, we're gonna go back to Under Pressure here, Troy. This is gonna be right up your alley, man. We're gonna be talking about your team now. Under Pressure. So you chose for a head coach. Let's start off with the coaches. You chose Dan Campbell. Why do you feel like he's under pressure? Because this is somebody I kind of thought about myself, but what makes him under pressure going into this season?
Well, let's start off with the telephone, your cornerback that's committed a felony down here in the state of Florida already. It's another sign of he's losing control of the guys. I think Dave was my tight end, so I have nothing personally against Dave. But I think since you lost Ben Johnson to Chicago, and then you lost my guy down in the Jets, I don't think Detroit is in the, they're just coming up short. They're not getting it done. He needs to get it done. He needs to show up. And Golf is not getting it done. They're coming up short.
Yeah, one and done in the playoffs a lot. It's just
Yeah.
it's not.
They got
It's
the talent. They got the
yeah.
talent. I see Montgomery went down to Houston. I think that's a great pick for him at running back. I mean, that slows it up. That gives C.J. Stroud an opportunity to get his running game going. But Dave, I think Detroit Lions he's really on the hot seat, and I think you got to perform, or they're
Right.
going to get him out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Louie, we talked about this last offseason. I said, this is a sort of a make or break situation for him to prove that it wasn't my coordinators, it was me. That said, the NFC North got interesting last year,
Oh
right?
God, yeah.
Because the Bears kind of tore it up in a way that I was certainly surprised, mostly because they've disappointed me my entire life. But the Vikings were actually surprising in how bad they were. The Packers couldn't get it together down the stretch, but yeah, it's interesting because it just seemed like the 2 seasons before last season, you watch the Lions and you'd be like, they're going to figure it out. They're going to pull through. In close games, you were like,
Yeah,
they're going to do it,
Super Bowl.
And now it kind of seems, and it's weird to say like maybe their window's closing because Campbell's only been in there a few years, and
they got
some
more.
I mean, I wonder how much of it was Ben Johnson, right?
I think so.
Well, you take a look.
You
take a look at the Buccaneers too with Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen left, and you see what happened the next year.
Maybe, but they had Canales the year before that, who also was amazing. I mean, that team is more used to the revolving door. But the Lions' identity on offense was Ben Johnson. It's two tall tight ends.
Career, he got resurrected.
So how do you lose your 2 coordinators, your right hand, your right and left hand, and you continue to press on as though you haven't lost nothing? And and all due respect, the Jets, I think in 4 years they'll be better, But I think the Chicago Bears, they are one better decision with Caleb, and they're on to the division game. I think Chicago is right there. I think Chicago is right there with Ben Johnson and him building trust up in Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I think them 2 guys, and we're going to talk about Caleb in a bit. I think them 2 guys, if they really click together this year, that's going to be a scary team. And I'm going to enjoy. Look at Jamie smile. He wants to smile.
I got so much to say, but we're going to talk about him later. So I'm gonna for the first time in Frozen Pirate history, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, look, let's get to. We got a Cowboys fan in here. Let's get to the Cowboys fan. Cowboys Nation, ready coaches look good, but still mad at Jerry. He also says Q Williams, Kenny Clark in my defense, and CP look out. And then Shoddy and CP give me hope for a change. I don't know, man. I don't know about the Cowboys. I mean, like I said, we're gonna cover the Cowboys. On the AFC side, Troy, you also talked about Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. I agree with you on this one. Because of the simple fact that the Bengals, you have the talent there. You have T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase, you have Joe Burrow, who I think is a fantastic quarterback, and you're playing in a division where, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been kind of they're not Pittsburgh of old, and then you take a look at the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. They're a beatable team, especially in the division. And then you have the Browns. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from the Browns because the Browns put up a fight. Those division games, you've played the game. Division games are probably some of the toughest games you play. But Zach Taylor, why is he under so much pressure for you?
I mean, Zach Taylor has the talent over there. Cincinnati is in a hole over the last 20 years. They don't take care of their players. They don't take care of their nucleus. Yeah, you have in Cincinnati the same thing you have in Dallas. You have a high-powered offense, but a defense that can't stop no damn body. It's like the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers put up 38. Their opponents gonna put up 50 points. Defense win championships. Not everybody talking about these high powers and these pieces in place. But what about that defense? What about the Rams? What about Seattle that's gonna get at your ass?
Right.
And the schematical things when you get down into the year, into the playoffs, you gotta have defense, man. Yeah, fans gonna come and see you shoot out, man. Yeah, you come to see CD Lamb and Pickens. But, man, what about some of these dang old defensive back? Where's the next Deion Sanders at? Where's the next Darren Woodson at safety? You know, where's these guys at? Where's the top linebackers on this team? And that's where I'm missing that. And that's why I'm so surprised that they got rid of your defensive end, your defensive tackle down in Seattle. They need help on defense. They need help on defense.
Yeah. I mean, Jamie, we talked about this on Around the NFL last year. Defense for the Bengals. Like, what's the deal? Like, the Bengals, they had Troy Hendrickson, and they just never built around them. But they put up $121 million for 3 players. You know, they did something like that.
Money for him, but they had money for the offensive nucleus. And you know, I think Troy hit on something there that people will pay to come see the shootout, and so you're going to keep selling tickets when you keep, you know, Burrows and two hot wide receivers in there. You know, they're not investing. They probably could stand to invest more in the O-line as well. Who was the last good, like really good, maybe not great, but really good Bengals DB?
I'm looking for him. I'm thinking about who was it.
I have one name in mind. I'll give you a hint. I believe he played for your team too.
I don't.
It's got to be Pac-Man, right?
Yeah, Pac-Man.
Oh my God, Adam Pac-Man Jones. Yeah.
Man, you hit it on the head. That's before he went down and did the armed robbery, ain't it?
Well, I tell you what. The Bengals in that period, that was an all incarceration team. That was a lot of trouble.
That was. I wouldn't want to be the coach of that team. I'm not gonna lie. You want to talk about gray hairs at 4:00 in the morning,
man? And I'm still trying to figure out how the NFL turned into a scoring team. You know, is it all about the highlights? Is it about the highlights scoring the touchdowns? You know, is it all the offensive power we see? It seems that all the money is going to the offense.
Well, you know, Louie and I were talking about this. Louie and I were talking about this on the phone yesterday. You know, you don't see DBs become sort of cultural superstars anymore. Remember when Darrelle Revis was a superstar? Oh, everyone in the country knew him. You didn't have to be a diehard football fan. You didn't even know who the Jets were, but you were seeing him on sneaker commercials. He was advertising for everybody, this, that, and the other. And he wasn't even really an interception machine, right?
No,
he was just he was a shutdown corner.
Right.
And
running
nowadays,
the 4-5, running the 4-5, 4-6.
Right. And, you know, and Louis said, well, you know, Sauce Gardner. And that's true. Sauce is great. He's a very exciting player, but he's not a cultural phenomenon in the way that Darrelle Revis was a cultural phenomenon.
Darrelle Revis commanded respect. He shut down the field, half of the field.
Yeah. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about star power. I'm talking about what Troy is talking about, what sells tickets, what highlight reels, what do people want to see.
Richard Sherman.
Right. Yeah. You got to knock them back in time, or you got to get a beautiful pick six. But simply going untargeted for most of the game and having 3 batted balls just doesn't make for ESPN highlight reels, right?
No, not at all.
But it does make for rings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, you know, the Bengals, this is a prove it year for Zach. I honestly think if they don't make the playoffs, he's done. Even if they
I'm not sure why he's there this year, to be honest.
Honestly, I'm going to make a bold statement, Jamie. You can write it down. They can make the playoffs.
I got the wrong computer.
Yeah, he's like, I got the wrong computer. Dude, I'm telling you right now, he's fired. After this year, he's gone. I'm telling you right now.
I'm going to make a bold prediction that if they are struggling and if they lose a game in the back half of the season that they should have won, that they're going to fire him during the season.
Yeah. It's time. Everybody say it's hurt over there. If Higgins not hurt, the other guy Chase is hurt. Burrow is hurt. They're not investing in offensive line to prop up their franchise quarterback like they should. They make me feel like 100%. They don't believe in Burrow. Burrow is taking too many damn shots. You know, he's taking too many shots to be the franchise quarterback. They're not investing in the interior guys, and then they let Henderson go.
Yeah, you let go of your key component on defense, number one. 2, you drafted a kid to replace him last year that doesn't seem like he wants to play football. Shout out to Davis Worsley, man. Subscribe to the Frozen Pirate podcast, man. Every Thursday we do this. Every Thursday. New generation got my Cowboys looking like we never go win anything. Well, speaking of your Cowboys, Mr. Troy, under pressure because we're gonna wrap this up with you because, like I said, I don't want you sitting outside and stuff like that.
All right.
Let's get into your picks here with under pressure. Dak Prescott. Me and you were talking about Dak.
Lou, let's shrink that comment down so we can see
Yeah,
the
I know.
graphic.
Sorry. Dak Prescott. You say he's under pressure this year. Me and you talked a little bit at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo. Me and you both heard a rumor. We don't know if it's true or not. I mean, I'll let you talk about it. Why is Dak Prescott under pressure, and will Dak Prescott be a Dallas Cowboy after this year?
You know, I think Mr. Jones is trying to attack our weakness, which is the defense. I do say that. You know, my question becomes, when will we take the ball out of Dak's hands and hand it off to a running back, a substantial running back, control the game, stop letting all of these little hiccups interfere with our offensive flow? That's where I'm at with Dak. Every play has to go through his hands. You know, we're tossing it everywhere, but we're not winning. It's a shootout once again, just like the Buccaneers. It's a shootout. We score 58, the opponents score 55. And, I mean, I leave every Sunday with a headache.
I agree. It's how I feel with the Bucs offense last year. You have Bucky Irving. You need to utilize Bucky. Bucky's the offense. Like, I get you have all these top flight receivers, but at the end of the day, you know what wins championships? I've never played the game, Troy, but what wins championships? Running the football,
running game, and
defense.
And the defense.
That's
and
it.
the defense. That's
So
what gets down through the stretch. So I say I'm not blaming Dak, but the money that Mr. Jones has given our franchise quarterback, that shows a level of commitment. And I'm not challenging his love for the game, but I'm telling you, I think better personnel need to be around him as far as running game, building the offensive line up, and I don't think we're gonna win much with that weak defense we have.
And they had pieces. Who was that cornerback they had 3 or 4 years ago that was almost set the record for fastest 20 interceptions, something like that. It was picking everybody.
He went to Miami. Oh man, was it Maxwell?
No. This is from only like 3-4 years ago. I think it actually might have been a Bama guy. So now I'm hating
it wasn't
myself.
Blade. It was I can't.
Oh, I apologize for not remembering. I will say this: Louie and I went over the who's under pressure for this season and who picked who. And Troy, I'd never met you yesterday, but I got mad at you when I saw this because I was like, "Oh, that is a really good choice," because Dak is in this perfect sweet spot of like, and Louie and I talk about this every season, or at least I talk about it, and Louie yells at me every season. Because every year everyone feels like Dak is a disappointment, and then you look at his numbers and you're like, he's so good. He's so good.
Dak,
but it never happens when it needs to happen.
It never happens.
But that's the problem. Dak needs to face like a Tom Brady situation. Remember with the Patriots?
Well,
your time is up, but Tom needed to go somewhere where he was going to succeed. The pieces were there. I feel like
we're not at that point. I think what Troy hit on was perfect. And I think also to go back to something, Louie, you and I talk about a lot, is everybody talks about the team as the quarterback. It's not him that's not winning playoff games. The team isn't winning playoff games.
That's exactly right.
Right? He's not the one letting someone put up 35 points on him.
That's right.
He's not the one saying, I can't wait to throw from behind. Right.
Yeah.
I need to make everything over 20-yard passes. Right. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's going to go down as a legendary player. What I'm saying is he's doing his job.
Right? Yeah.
But I mean, at some point, when does Dak say, fuck this, I'm done, I want out?
I don't know with a market like it is these days, and them guys are getting so much guaranteed money up front, man. It's hard to pull. You know, nobody want to see the ending. You know, right. I want Dak and Lamar Jackson to switch. I want Dak to go down to Baltimore. I want Lamar Jackson to come to Dallas. And my reasoning is
okay.
Let me give you my reasoning. My reasoning is because Lamar will supplement the running game for us. Right now, they're expecting Big Henry to supplement Lamar over there, and that mix with Henry and Lamar ain't working. That is a bad look. You are making Lamar get on the cooler. Lamar don't feel like he's a dual threat anymore. Lamar's trying to stay in the pocket and preserve his body. I think Lamar has unplugged from the game. I
So
need
you
a
think
resurgence in Lamar, get Lamar down in Dallas, and I think it would open back up, man. That's just me.
So
Wow.
I don't think that trade ever happens. I think everything you said is correct. I think that would be awesome.
Listen, never say never, because you talked about this, Troy. Under pressure for the AFC, you said for a player, Lamar Jackson, 5 years, $260 million. He's getting paid $52 million this year. They never put wide receivers around this man. They always put up guys at the back end of their careers.
Yeah.
And that's no offense, but
He has one good wide receiver, honestly, for the first time in years, right? Zay Flowers.
okay, but I mean,
Zay Flowers is a legit threat now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Dude, look at his numbers last year. I mean, the guy really played well last year.
no, they got to get him a big body. They got to get him like
I think bringing in Henry. I thought bringing in Henry was the wrong fit for Lamar. I think Lamar has taken the backseat to Henry and his level of play. I didn't see Lamar level of play last year rise to the level that I've seen over the years. And with the relationship that him and Harbaugh had over the years, some kind of way it got infected through these transitions and these other spirits coming in his locker room. And they're not giving Lamar what he needs. He didn't need no Henry. He don't need no Henry back there. He's rushing alone over 90 yards a game himself. He needs some big-time receivers. Look, Flower, I think he's good. I think he's quick, but he needs another big-time receiver, right?
He needs a DK Metcalf, man. He needs a big body receiver.
Yep.
He need a big receiver. He need an A.J. Brown, prima donna. He needs some big – that's what Lamar needs, and he needs the two tight ends that he has. And I think he would have been fine.
Let me ask you this: If a guy like Mike Evans winded up in Baltimore, how do you think that would have panned out for Lamar Jackson?
Mike Evans is good for 8 to 10 games. Lamar, I mean, I think Mike Evans is not. The number says what he is. He's a Hall of Famer, but I'm telling you, he's at the end of his gas tank, and I don't think you can put a massive load on him like a Lamar needs. Lamar needs a receiver that he can put a max load on, a 5, 6 year, 7 year vet that he could put a max load on. I don't think Mike Evans is gonna last that long.
What about DJ Moore?
DJ Moore is a better fit. Yes, he is.
Okay.
He is.
Yeah, I like that combination, DJ Moore and Lamar Jackson. But that's all I'm saying. I like Zay Flowers, but I don't really think I don't know. He's a strong number 2. You also have under pressure the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, sorry, Jamie. Do you want to say something?
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going.
You also had the Dallas Cowboys as under pressure. 29 years, zero NFC titles. They had a collapse in the wild card in the 2023. Missed the playoffs. They traded Parsons. I think both Coach and Dak are on notice this year. Me and you talked about this. Dak could be on the trade block.
Why? You talking about that? Oh, you must be talking about Dallas Cowboys. That sounds like the Dallas Cowboys drama there. I think Schottenheimer. I think he's a great guy. Once again, I think he comes in to rejuvenate the offense. And by God, we don't need no damn offense rejuvenated. We need some defense. We need to go get some of these veteran guys that can cover somebody. We need some linebackers can get in here and stop Saquon Barkley. That's what we need. We need defense, man. We need somebody to hold somebody. Dak does
That's
this
a tough
part.
division.
His numbers are excellent. Dak numbers are excellent, but when it comes to wins and losses to the big games, the defense let him go down and score, bro. And
we got a comment for you. My coach, not under pressure. What you all thinking about wrong? What do you think is wrong?
Well, I mean, I will say this. I don't think Shoddy's necessarily unnoticed because he just hasn't been given long enough of a chance to make this his team yet.
Will it ever be?
Dino, hail to the Redskins. Listen,
no.
I was gonna choose the Jaden Daniels as under pressure, but I mean, I'll give him a pass. Look, the Commanders got better. They're probably gonna eventually get Ayuk in there eventually, and I talked about this.
Day one, apparently.
Yeah, Rashad White. And I'll ask you this before we cut you loose here. Your playing days.
Yes,
If if you are you familiar with the situation with Rashad White and what happened with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers about him like posting pictures of Jaden Daniels all the time during, I think it was like week 14, week 15.
No, I didn't.
All right, so week 14, week 15, he's posting photos of him and Jaden Daniels in college, saying my twin, this and that, blah blah blah. Basically, cryptic message saying, hey, I want to go play for the Commanders. And this is week 14, week 15. In the locker room, how would you feel if you seen a teammate doing that, knowing that you're still in it and, you know, you've seen what the Buccaneers were going through? If you were a leader of a locker room, like take me into the mindset of that. Like, are you confronting that person, or are you just like, it is what it is? Like,
yeah, you know, leadership, you know, from the days I come from, you know, we're going to fight this thing all the way tooth and nail, you know, and we're not going to, you know, until the season is over with, then decisions will be made. So you'll want your guys to stay intact. The way today's technology is and way social media is now, man, there's so much stuff going on. It's just, you can't stop it. You can't stop it. I know the NFL has rules in place where your phones can be used at a certain time, this and that, and guys get by that, you know? So you can't stop it, man. Guys are built different these days. You know, it's no honor anymore. You know, I don't even know if they're hazing anymore. You know, when I came along, I was holding Emmett's helmet. I was taking Emmett.
Well, let me ask you. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the NFL today, I talked to Dwight about this, but the NFL today, I feel like there's some stuff missing. It's like everything's a fucking spectacle. The schedule release, like I didn't like the fact that the Buccaneers did this Baywatch thing. Like I don't care about that. And I remember growing up as a kid watching training camp, like cameos of like it was. Like, it's not what it used to be. The Buccaneers got in trouble. Todd Bowles got in trouble because he ran the guys too hard in practice, in minicamp.
The tradition of making it, the tradition of being in a fraternity like the NFL, the 53-man roster, you know, the things I had to do, be on time. Or I had to go and, you know, run across town to get guys sandwiches, you know, tote their helmets inside. It's an honor. And I don't think they honor it like we did when I came along. And
do you feel like the NFL's gotten a little softer?
Yeah, it's very soft, and it's, you know, with them guys coming in with that NIL money, also, man, you know, they so far ahead of the game than we.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they're rich when they show up. They're not fighting for anything. They're not hungry.
So when I went in, I had to fight for my little $100,000 contract. You know, I had to fight every year to make the roster. I never had a guaranteed contract. I went year to year. That's how I got my 5 years, year to year. And you know, nowadays, man, them guys coming in too rich now. And
I mean, you legitimately have guys that so, you know, the magic number people talk about, $12 million, right? Once you made $12 million, you never got to work again because that money will make enough money to keep you living a nice life. You've got guys that have made $12 million before the draft.
Man.
Yeah.
Where's the hunger? Where's the desire to succeed?
That's exactly right. And so they're taking it out of it. Now the guys are able to be prima donnas like A.J. Brown, you know, throw these hitsy fits across the field. You know, we don't get back to just respecting the coaches. We go against the coaches now.
Yeah, that's the thing. They stand up to the coaches.
I stand up to the coaches now. There's no way in the hell I can stand up to Bill Parcells. There's no way in the hell I can stand up to Dave Campo. You hear me? There's no way in the hell I can say something to Mr. Jones out of the way. You hear me? I mean, man, it's so much respect and honor there. But now, man, these prima donnas, they've taken the taste out, and everything's going to, it's a spectacle out there, man. I think
Troy, you know
hold
what
on. I want to ask Troy a question real quick because I read something the other day and I was curious about this. Someone, I think it was ESPN NFL analyst, said the A.J. Brown situation proves that in the modern era, a prima donna wide receiver would prefer to get targets over Super Bowl wins.
Yep.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Man, you know, and you just won, man. You got your young nucleus down there in Philadelphia, and you go against the whole organization. AJ,
he wasn't happy when they won. That I think to me, maybe, and I'm not even old school. I'm 42 years old, but you know, maybe it's the Midwesterner in me. But like seeing a guy not be happy when your team wins, and come out and complain to the media after a win.
Man, it's It's like, man, go back to the hustle, back to the huddle, and whisper to your quarterback, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna be open." Don't make it so obvious that you guys got conflict. I just
Reading
don't know.
books on the sideline.
I think personally that if I was a GM, I would say, AJ Brown, I have no place for you on my team. I think AJ Brown might go down there and he might be a cancer to what the Patriots are building.
Well, let me ask you this: with Rashad White and the Buccaneers, what would you do if you seen all that now? Like, say if you were playing in the modern era right now, you were on the Buccaneers, you saw what the Buccaneers are going through. What would you do if you seen your?
I mean, the
the
guy's posting pictures during the season of him fantasizing about playing on another team, and you're still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah. So, like, tell me, take me through what you would do in that situation. Troy, you there?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, brother.
Yeah, go. Like,
so you're Troy Hambrick. Let's say you're on year 5. You're a respected voice in the locker room. You got this young guy who's posting photos, basically saying, "Man, I wish I was playing somewhere else." While you guys are still in playoff contention, what do you say to the guy?
Yeah. You take him to.
Oh, I think we lost him. Damn.
Right as we were getting to the good answer.
Yeah, damn. I think we lost him.
Florida nightlife got him.
Yeah. I think we lost him.
All right, we'll see if we can get him back on in a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Damn, like that was like that was a good question.
He's probably in the middle of giving a phenomenal answer right now.
Yeah, I know. Like, that. Damn. We'll never know now. No, I can always ask him. No, I mean, like I said, like I said, we'll damn. Troy, if you can hear us, I think we lost you. Oh, there he is. There he is. Troy, we're getting him back. Welcome to Around the NFL. This is how it is, man. The Wi-Fi out in Florida, man, I don't know what you guys are using, man, but it's spotty. I remember when I was down there.
Just swamp gas.
Yeah. I think we lost Troy.
All right, what do we got for our next segment here?
Yeah. No, man, shout out to Troy, man, for joining us. Uncle Troy. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
We got you back. Did we get you back? No. All right. We'll move on to the next segment. Hold on. I'm going to try and give him the opportunity.
He's toying with us.
Yeah. It's all good, man. Yeah, I mean, but Troy hit on some good points. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way the NFL is now, like you said it, I wouldn't dare say anything to Bill Parcells. They're like, that's a no-no. You know, and it seems like today these players, they don't.
Well, I don't want to drift too far from the NFL, but you and I are similar mindsets. It's not just the NFL. It's not just sports. The way that you and I were when we were young, you and I worked together when we were kids, right? Yeah. You may not like it. You may say nasty things about the boss when you're out for a beer afterwards. But you don't undermine the organization, because if you're going to do that, just don't go work somewhere else. Get a different job.
You are fucking fired. I'll never forget that moment, buddy. Bittersweet for me, because I argued with him the night before. You know what, Jamie? Before we get into the next segment, and before we get into Jamie's trivia, for those of you guys watching, we want you to play along with this. We actually have some cool segments, and I want to take a moment real quick before Ralph joins us. We actually have a lot of cool segments.
Is Ralph going to be here for the trivia? I really want Ralph here for the trivia. I think he's going to get them both right out of the gate. But. Yeah.
So here's the thing. We have a lot of cool things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a free jersey giveaway. We're going to be doing free mini helmet giveaway, courtesy of the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo. If you guys are not familiar with the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, if you're in the Tampa area and you ever hear me talk about this expo, you got to come on down, man. I had the privilege and the honor to sit there, like, mind you, and I was talking to Jamie off air about this. I sat there and I talked to Hardy Nickerson. I was shell-shocked. Like, I was just like, holy shit, I'm talking to fucking Hardy Nickerson. And this is a guy that was the human hit stick before Madden came out with the hit stick button. They call him hardware for a reason. And I was sitting there talking to him. Simeon Rice, one of the coolest interviews I ever had to do. I've had the privilege of doing. I told him my story about how I became a Bucs fan, and he just looked at me, he had his sunglasses on. I had my sunglasses on too. And he was just like, man, that was just so organic. And I'm telling you, Jamie, I'm like, hey, man, I'm talking to these guys. It's crazy. Like how like we're all talking, and it's just it's
I
an
mean, you send
honor.
me pictures every time you go down, and I'm like, is that what the hell? You're that
Yeah.
close? What?
Yeah. It's just wild. And then Leonard Fournette and all these Bucky Irvin, me and him had a personal conversation. But if you guys ever hear me talk about the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, if you're into cards, you're looking to get your cards graded, they have guys over there that do the grading. There's something for everybody. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's usually on the first weekend of the month. They usually do one in March, June, September, and they do one in December. So it's quite a bit. I will be here.
It's cool enough that I haven't been able to make it for the few that you've done. And my wife keeps telling me, my wife, who is not a sports fan, when I tell her, I show her pictures, she goes, you do need to go. Like, this is my wife. And we have 2 small kids at home. And like the timing hasn't worked out for me with work. And she's always like, just go to the next one. Just make it work.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool experience, man. And guys, and that's how me and Troy met. We met at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo. I had an interview with him. I asked him, hey, you want to come on the show? And he's one of my favorite interviews between him and Dwight and Simeon. Like I said, Troy, I really have a lot of respect for Troy. I don't think he's going to come back on. I appreciate his time. He's going to be a co-host of the show. Yeah, man.
He's fun.
Dude, it's like I said, I like having his input because he's from that old school era of football that we enjoy, what did I say, Jamie? I said, enjoy football right now because it's not going to be the same in 5 years. You're going to see a completely different situation. Don't buy any jerseys because these players are going to change jerseys.
Yeah. I mean, look, the game's always been that way though, right? It's, the game was different 10 years ago. It was different 20 years ago. It was, I've said this on this podcast how many times. The guys from the 60s were looking at the guys that we loved and being like, what, you're playing with a face mask? What are you, weak? Your helmet's made out of plastic instead of leather?
Well, without further ado, man, welcome back to Around the NFL. Ralph, damn, YouTube Sports Talk.
What's happening, fellas? What's going on?
What's happening, buddy? How we doing? Welcome back.
Man,
welcome back.
Appreciate you for having me, man. I'm good, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, man, we got to get you to one of those Tampa Sports Collectors Expos so you can do some interviews with me.
Yeah, I've been checking your social media. I see you now.
Yeah, man, I should be doing more, but it like I said, it's just tough. I'm a one-man show, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Getting down there, it's crazy. It's a lot of work, but like I was just telling Jamie, talking to Simeon, talking to Bucky, talking to all these guys, man, like it's wild because like I said, I grew up watching Simeon and Hardy and all these, and Shelton Quarles too. I haven't even put that interview out yet. But I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Speaking of crazy, we lost Troy Hambrick, unfortunately. But he's gonna be a co-host on the show. He's gonna be a regular. We're doing this segment, Ralph, under pressure. So we're going to move on a little bit, but Jamie wanted to wait, especially for you, to do this trivia.
I know you love the trivia.
Jamie's trivia.
All right. So it's a two-parter, and I promise Lou that this first show of the season, I'm not going to go crazy. The first part you guys will get, I think, right away. The second one might take a little more. Youngest quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl. That's the first part. The second part is youngest quarterback to ever win a playoff game.
Youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Youngest quarterback to win a playoff game. Why do I feel like I know this?
Youngest quarterback to win a playoff game. Youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
That's tough.
We need to get countdown music before I start giving hints and clues.
Well, like I said, guys, everybody that's tuning in right now, this show is like a work in progress. Like I said, this is like the season. What did we call it yesterday? The pilot. This is the pilot.
This is the pilot episode. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the pilot episode. All right,
anytime I can get Ralph like this, I get excited.
Oh man.
I can hear gears churning in his brain. He's going through everybody from every year.
Youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Damn, I'm gonna take a wild. Hold on. I want to take a wild guess. Because this quarterback that I remember, he did. I don't know if he was the youngest, but he was young when he won it. I'm gonna say Big Ben. I don't remember Big Ben
First
being
guess. This is why we wait
Damn.
for him. First guess, he got it. That's why we wait for him.
Damn.
okay. I remember Big Ben wasn't old when he won it. He was
I think
relatively young when he
he
won
was
it.
like 23. I think it might have been his rookie year.
Yeah,
Ice Water
I was about to
Olsen
say
said
it's-
Mahomes for Super Bowl. No,
We've
you're
solved
wrong, bro.
the Super Bowl. Now we have the harder one.
What's that?
Youngest
It's
quarterback to ever
win
win a playoff game.
Man.
to win a
And the
playoff
fucked
game.
the fucked up part is the thing is with Jamie's trivia, right? The fucked up part is it's usually a team like one of our teams or his team or like somebody like that
It's
you
not
least
that
expect.
necessarily. It's just that I set it up in such a way that you can never go like, oh, come on, nobody would have gotten that. Nobody would have known that. You know, Leo gets them right every single time. So somebody knows.
Youngest quarterback to win a playoff game.
So, Ralph, I don't know if you were
tough.
listening to the show before you popped on, but the answer to both trivias were discussed tonight. So this is a name that has been brought up tonight at some point. Not
I don't know,
intimately
man.
discussed, but
I
the
don't
name
know.
came up. Because both times I was like, oh, they're answering my trivia question already.
Lamar
No, good guess. You're
in that conference.
Is in the AFC.
It is AFC. It is AFC.
Mahomes. It's
Drake.
Mahomes.
It's neither Mahomes nor Drake May.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Damn, I was about to say Drake May.
He still plays.
What the fuck? Joe Burrow?
No, but I like that guess. I never would have thought of that, but no.
I mean, because he won early on in his career. I mean, damn, man. AFC.
Currently
Mahomes.
plays in the AFC.
Yep. And is a starter. He's not like someone who won a fluke game and then became a backup somewhere. Hell, he's still young.
Oh, not Herbert.
Nope.
Nah, he shits the
Wait,
bed.
has Herbert even won a playoff game?
That's what I'm thinking. Like he's still
I don't know,
young,
man. You
but I
got
don't think
me.
he's
You
won a
got me.
playoff game.
I feel like Herbert to me will always be 29 years old. From the first game he played till the game he retires, he's gonna be 29 years old.
I don't know,
young,
man. You got me.
young old dude.
It was 2023.
2023.
I mean, there's only a few teams that won playoff games in the AFC in 2023.
I know, but there's just so much going on.
CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud.
Son of
the
a
youngest
bitch.
player to ever win a playoff game in NFL
You know
history.
what? I was thinking about CJ, but I'm thinking like I remember them getting to the playoffs, and then you know how they get to the
And they
playoffs.
did. They won the first game. Yeah, and I think he's only won the one playoff game, right?
That's why I didn't say it because I only remember them winning.
I will say,
yeah.
I will say, you know, I sit here and I act all cocky. When I was pulling this trivia together, I saw that I was like, yes, it was CJ Stroud. I should not have had to Google this. I didn't know it off the top of my head.
You know what's crazy? So Jamie, not to cut you off, but when Troy was talking, we had a Dallas fan and a Commanders fan kind of going at it. I wish I would have entertained that a little bit more because I was curious to see. Jay, I saw you cracking a smile. Was it because of the comments?
Me?
Because Dino came in and said, "Hail to the Redskins," and then F Dallas, and then Commanders ain't beat us in years. I wish I would entertain that a little bit more. All right,
I mean, when I saw that Commanders ain't beat us in years, my immediate thought was, I mean, it may technically have been more than 1 year, but hasn't it only been 2 years since they beat the Cowboys? Dino, if you're still there, give us an answer.
Yeah.
If you can hear me, knock twice on the wall.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to under pressure here, Ralph. So Jamie, myself, and Uncle Troy, we were doing under pressure. Teams that are under pressure and players and coaches. So we'll speed this up. So we'll go with coaches because I know Troy had to head out. So we'll do we'll get back into coaches here, and then we'll jump right into would you bet on it? And guys, that's a new segment that we're going to be doing here on Around the NFL. Would you bet on it? So let's go to the NFC side for coaches. Kyle Shanahan, for me, is a coach that is under pressure because of the simple fact that they've been to multiple Super Bowls, they've lost. 0 rings as a head coach, 28-3 as an offensive coordinator against the Patriots with the Falcons. You know, he's had some elite rosters, but it's the same bullshit. And I say, like the bottom of the graphic, finish the fucking job. He's got to finish the job. They just acquired Mike Evans, which is a big time target. Like I said, Ralph, like you're familiar with who Mike Evans is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've seen him kill you guys a few times. So I don't know if you've seen Mike Evans lately, but Mike looks in fantastic shape. I'm not saying he's going to be a full-time guy with the Niners, but like what we were just discussing with Troy is that, you know, they're going to get a solid 10 games out of him. Kyle Shanahan, for me, is under pressure. They have to do damage. They have to get to the NFC Championship, maybe even the Super Bowl for Kyle Shanahan to, I don't know if he's going to lose his job, but at some point you get to all these Super Bowls, you get all this playoff success, and I get it, you have injuries, but I don't want to hear about injuries because the Buccaneers have injuries too. And people say, well, the Niners have
No, you say this every year. The level of injuries they get to every star player they have every year for like the last 4 years is nuts.
I get it, but I mean, there's something going on there. But anyways, he is under pressure. So explain to me, guys, do you think he's under pressure this year? Because that's my pick for the NFC. Kyle Shanahan is under pressure. We'll start off with you, Ralph. You just jumped in. Sorry, Jamie, but you've been on here for a while.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kyle Shanahan, one of them head coaches, is under pressure. Looking at the division he in, you're looking at Seattle, who won it, the Super Bowl. Then you look at another team in that same division, the LA Rams, who just got Myles Garrett. So there's 2 teams in your division that's competing to get to the Super Bowl. So now you got to kind of keep up, especially with the additions of Mike Evans. You know, you should get a healthy Christian McCaffrey, should get a healthy George Kittle. You got Christian Kirk over there now. So you know Brock Purdy back. So you gotta you under pressure to stay right there with the Rams and with Seattle. And like I said, Seattle just won the Super Bowl in your division. And then you look at the moves. You look at the moves LA. So that kind of makes you be under pressure by default. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yeah,
I agree. It's, you know, that's a fair. What
about you, Jamie? You think he's under pressure, or you think he's got nothing to worry about?
Well, I think that's a false dichotomy. I don't think it's either your job's at risk or you have nothing to worry about. I think if they absolutely fall apart, then the team will probably move on from him. But yeah, I mean, you're right in the sense that they've had an elite roster for some years now. But, you know, 2 Super Bowl losses is a lot better than not making it to the Super Bowl at all.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike Tomlin, all those years going to the playoffs and, you know, winning.
And, you know, I take issue with when you say 0 rings, because if you made it to the Super Bowl, you got a ring.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point, Jamie, it's like, what the fuck, dude? You know, it's like, do you need to go in a different direction? Remember when the Bucs had Tony Dungy, beloved coach, and I hate referring back to the Buccaneers, but hear me out. Tony Dungy, beloved coach.
Why don't you bring up a more modern example of Harbaugh?
Well, I'm just because I'm not
right. Because Harbaugh is a great example of you have a great team. They never seem to quite make it there. You got a guy who's an MVP multiple times.
Right.
Got all this talent. You've had some really stellar defenses along some really stellar offenses, and it just never quite seems to happen.
Dino says not true. He
just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
Just in general.
And then he said Power Station.
Him and his conspiracy theories. God.
But no, I mean, the reason why I revert to Tony Dungy and John Gruden is because Tony Dungy, year after year after year, playoffs, they just couldn't beat the Eagles. They get knocked out. And then 99 was arguably one of the greatest defenses of all time. And that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I stand on that statement. That was one of the greatest defenses of all time, 99. If you don't believe me, go look up the stats. But unfortunately, the Bucs didn't get it done.
We did do a whole show about that last year.
Yeah. The Buccaneers just couldn't get it done, and then what happened? They made a blockbuster trade. King's ransom for John Gruden came in, and he gave the Buccaneers the balls to go into Philly, and ultimately they won a Super Bowl. I mean, the rest after that was a disaster. But I mean, I would take a Super Bowl win any day. I mean, so now you look at the San Francisco 49ers, and the reason why I say he's under pressure is because you've been to numerous Super Bowls, you came up short. And I get it. You have a bunch of injuries, but now you have arguably a Hall of Fame wide receiver coming into the fray, and you have a healthy Christian McCaffrey. You have arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and Brock Purdy throwing him the football. And you have a pretty good roster. I mean, I get it. Kittle won't be there the first couple of weeks.
I don't know that anybody would argue that Brock Purdy's one of the best quarterbacks in football. I think everybody says the same thing about Brock Purdy. I disagree with it, but the common
I think he's a
thing
good
about him is that he's a systems quarterback.
Would you take him over Baker Mayfield?
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, I would
we're going in a different direction this year and around the NFL.
He fit what they do. Yeah, he fit
exactly. He's a systems quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's not controversial. It's actually something that I don't fully believe in. I think he is a pretty good quarterback, and I think he'd play well in other systems, but he works exceptionally well in their system. But, you know, there's no risk of him ever being a Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, like I said, Shanahan, he's got to win. He's got to win the big one. I mean, because like I said, eventually in the NFL,
I mean, it's one of the hardest things to do in sports is win the Super Bowl.
I get it, but once, I get it. But eventually, you're gonna be like, all right, we need to go in a different direction. We need. If they reach the NFC Championship game and they lose again, do you keep him as a coach?
Who do you bring in? Belichick.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen some crazy things happen in the NFL. I wouldn't be shocked.
What was your prediction? I'm at the wrong computer on my laptop here. What was your prediction for Belichick Cowboys? It was last year, right? Or was it this year?
It was.
There are some crazy predictions for this year from like 2 seasons ago. I'm very excited to pull back up.
Oh, I bet you are. I mean, all right. So I mean, for the AFC side, I have Mike McCarthy with the Steelers. He's under a lot of pressure right off the rip, just because one, that fan base, they're gonna run him right out of Pittsburgh if he does not produce. 2, it's interesting to see him and Aaron Rodgers together. But the problem is that fan base is so used to being in the playoffs every year.
So I could not disagree with this more because everybody is expecting this to fail. There's nobody who knows anything about football that thinks that the Steelers are going to be a serious team this year. They might win 8 or 9 games, but whatever it is they're chasing, they're not. There's no world in which
22 straight non-losing seasons, man.
I mean okay, so there is one record they'll break.
0 playoffs wins since 2017. This is Aaron Rodgers' final, hurrah. I mean, I don't know what he's got left. I'm not going to bet against the man. Like I said, it's still we haven't seen anything yet. He could tear it up, or he could tear up his ACL or his Achilles, if you will.
I think he's going to do what he did last year. He'll be fine. He'll be like a replacement.
He had some pretty decent numbers last year. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he was fine.
Ralph, what do you think? You think they're under pressure? Mike McCarthy, you think he's under pressure?
Somewhat, yeah. I think he, being a veteran coach, he ain't no young coach in the league, so he should, know what to do. In a division where, it's Cleveland Browns, so we not even concerned about, So he should know what to do with Aaron Rodgers. He already had Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, so he should know what to do, even though Aaron Rodgers is older. But just coming into Pittsburgh, looking at the streak of winning season they done had, playoff appearances they done had, that kind of puts you under pressure, as soon as you walk in the door anyway. They got a certain expectation in Pittsburgh.
Right. Well, speaking of pressure, Jamie speaks for coaches, Nick Sirianni, and then he also has Liam Cohen. Let's start off with Nick Sirianni. Yeah. Jamie, why do you think Sirianni is under pressure?
I sent a link to the show to my Philly boys. I don't know if they're watching tonight, but I give them a lot of guff about this. There were so many Eagles fans the year after they won the Super Bowl calling for Sirianni to be fired. And I don't mean partway through the next season. I mean in the offseason after they won the Super Bowl, the fan base was calling for Sirianni to be fired. These are the meanest fans, not just at football, in any sport. These are people who throw batteries on the field. These are people who throw batteries at Santa Claus's head.
Douche.
The Phillies fan. Listen, I love Philly people, but they have a certain attitude about sports that I just don't fully understand. So I think Sirianni, I mean, look, like I said, people were calling for his head when he won the Super Bowl. So what could he possibly do to make the fan base love him? I will say, I mean, I wouldn't say A.J. Brown fallout, right? He's not the one who moved on from A.J. Brown. The front office did. And I think Philly fans were also pretty sick of it. You know, I'm talking to my Philly guys, you know, that's a working class town. Those are people who expect people to get up and do their thing. They don't care about the diva shit. They don't want that. I think most Eagles fans that I've talked to are pretty happy that he's gone. I almost don't know what Sirianni can do to stay there if he wants to stay there next year.
Here's my thing, and Ralph, we'll get your take because we'll move along to Liam Cohen. But look, I mean, the Eagles are in play to have a good season, but the problem is I think that NFC East, and maybe Dino can chime in here, but I think the NFC East got a little bit more difficult for them. I think the Giants they're going to be better. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I think they're going to be better. They're going to play a lot harder. They
got like 16 concussions between their two best players.
I'm telling you right now, the Giants are going to be a team that's going to play a lot harder. I think the Commanders,
including with Dexter Lawrence gone.
I'm telling you right now, I think they're going to be a better team. I think they're going to be more. I'm telling you, I think they're going to. The division games are tough. Ask Ralph, man. Bucks. Supposedly we're the worst division, but I don't buy into bad divisions. There's no such thing as a bad division. There really is.
There absolutely is. There's historically been a ton of really bad divisions. I think you guys are a better division this year than you were last year.
But with that division,
better last year than you were the year before, for sure.
With that division with the East, I'm telling you right now, I think the Commanders, you know, with Rashad White joining the fray, and then maybe Brandon Ayuk, and if Jaden Daniels can stay healthy and they can, you know, capture that lightning in the bottle like they've had the past couple of seasons, I think they're going to be a really good team. The Cowboys, I don't know what to make of the Cowboys. Like Troy was saying, they're under pressure. But, I mean, it's up to Dak. But the problem
more importantly,
is, like
Troy pointed out, they just didn't build on defense.
Yeah, you got to play defense. So we'll see what happens there. Ralph, why do you think do you think that the Eagles are under pressure this year? You think Sirianni's under pressure?
Yeah. If it's based around a lot of the rumors and stuff that was circulating around Philly about, you know, AJ Brown and Nick Sirianni not being on the same page. You seen AJ Brown on the bench reading books, you know, not being in tune with the quarterback for whatever reason. So you lost AJ Brown, but you replaced him with Mekhi Lemon, who they drafted. But I'm not really sure if Devontae Smith, in my opinion, is a true solid number one. I think he's a good number two.
Yeah.
But to now be stepping into the number one role to fill the shoes of what you lost in AJ Brown, I don't know if he's a real number one. You know.
Well, they have a different style, right? He's straightaway speed. He's deep ball. He does have a quick cut and all that, but he's never going to be the big body guy, right?
Yeah, but can you consistently go deep down the field to him? You know what I'm saying?
That's a Jalen Hurts question.
Here you go. So a guy that I think is under pressure this year for a player is Jalen Hurts. You know, he's making $51 million this year. A.J. Brown's gone. There's no more excuses. You got to lead that offense. That's my take. They still have a good offense. They still have Saquon. They still have the tight end there. You know, with the wide receiving core and the kid that they just drafted, I think this is a good year for Jalen Hurts. There's no more bullshit in the locker room, in my opinion. I believe that Jalen Hurts is under a little bit of pressure. I think the coach is under pressure in Philly. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, it's way too early to tell. We'll see what happens. You know, we're not even in training camp. That's the beauty of it. But, Jamie, you talked about under pressure Liam Cohen, 13-4 in his first season, AFC South champion, and I guess we'll say bad division, wild card exit. Prove it was real. Prove it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important sentence, right? Is, you know, I sort of passively pay attention to some Jaguars people on social media, people who are fans and Jaguars fan organizations and all that. And the thing I keep seeing from all of them is sort of like, it's going to happen again. They're going to break our hearts again. It's going to be an almost, and then it's going to be another 5 years of suffering.
Right.
You got a quarterback who's been at it for a few years now, and it's time to sort of show the flash. They've built up a good team. They've got depth. I like Liam Cohen as a head coach. I don't like his ability to say Duval, but
this is the worst.
It's cringy as fuck, man, when he says
but
that.
it is one of those, it's a lot like the Bears, right? That like the Jaguars feel like sort of their fan base is like, yeah, we were good, but let's see. And,
right.
I'm rooting for him. But I just kind of, and I don't mean he's going to be fired. What I mean is everyone is looking to see, are you really what we thought you were?
The community. Duval.
Oh, God. Every time I hear it, it's somehow worse than I remember it.
Nah,
Like
that ain't how you say Duval.
No, I'm a cringy nerd. Don't get me wrong, but that is like, it just makes my muscles like tighten up a little bit when I hear it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the pressure is really like, are you a serious head coach? Can you do this for this city? Can you bring this team to where we want you to be? Or, was it some flashy words and got lucky with a few placements and had the right guys and we'll see what happens next. So my instinct again as a cynical Bears fan is to say like, this is probably the best season that they're going to have for some years. And then they're 2 years away from another rebuild.
Yeah.
But I hope that's not the case.
Well, because we're pressed for time here, because we have another segment to get to.
Yellow Habibi, let's go.
Yeah. All right. So we also have LA Rams. They're under pressure. You also have AJ Brown and the Buffalo Bills. That's my. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say Joe Brady too.
Yeah.
Well, so I picked the Bills for team under pressure because I don't think Brady's really under pressure. It's his first time doing it, right?
I just think
yes, he knows the team, and yes, it's an in team or in organization promotion and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it is Allen for sure, but to me, it's the Bills organization because
$55 million, maybe.
That's a wild, but their fan base doesn't care about things like that. That's not the way. Trust me.
I don't think Allen's going anywhere. I think you're right.
You know that I go to Buffalo for games. I'm friends with Bills fans. I'm tied into this world a lot more than any other team other than the Bears.
You going to the new stadium?
Probably not this year. We're going to try and wait a year because we think it's just going to be too crazy the first year.
Yeah, I agree.
And look, a playoff record in 8-7 is phenomenal. As you and I were talking about yesterday, if you regularly make the playoffs, you should have roughly a losing record unless you win the Super Bowl every year, right? Because every season comes with one guaranteed loss, so it's lopsided against you from the gate. So to have an overall winning record, the problem that the Bills are having is a Jim Kelly problem, right? Are we going to do another? Oh God, remember that amazing team that never quite did it. Right. How many years are we going to get this close and not pull it off? And, first of all, that city and that fan base deserves it. They're fiercely loyal. They're so excited to have a Josh Allen. This is a team that not that long ago had Nathan Peterman as their starting quarterback, guys.
Fucking 5 interceptions per game.
In like 3 quarters, by the way. I don't even think he played the full game.
Yeah.
So I think the Bills organization made a move that talking to Bills fans, they understand it. Some of them agree with it, but a lot of them, even the ones that sort of agree with it, are sort of rightfully saying like the problem was not the head coach. It wasn't massive boneheaded coaching mistakes, right? It's just missing pieces every year. It's a 1 quarter rebuild every year, right? If you look around the NFL, you'll see guys all over the league that 2 or 3 years ago were just stellar Bills players.
Right.
Maybe it is. Maybe they're overpaying Allen, but compared to the rest of the quarterback market,
I don't think
maybe they rely too much on hero ball. But the thing is, when it matters, he does it. And every year there's a couple plays, right? We had 2 plays last year with him that we were like, what he passed the touchdown to himself last year, right?
Yeah.
It's the first time that's ever happened.
Well, what about you talked about the Rams too? I mean, I think the Rams. I agree with you on that fact, and we'll speed this up.
Well, for the Rams, they're all in. It's a win now. It's we're giving up sort of everything. Only been 5 years since they won it, right? And youngest coach to ever win it, right?
Yeah. I believe they made some key additions with
So
Myles
huge
Garrett,
moves.
Trent McDuffie. Yeah,
And
that's putting your dick on the table, buddy.
well, and that's it. And that's what
Yeah.
it comes down to is like it's on the table now. So,
It's on the table and smack down on the
from
table.
a sort
buddy.
of team building perspective, it's borderline a super team, right? It's
Right.
like some of the best players in the world at every single position.
It is a super team.
Yeah.
The only thing that, I mean, they had was it the left guard or left tackle just caught a felony charge a couple of weeks ago. So that, and that's tough, right? Because you can't plan around that. And it's so late in the offseason to be going, but other than that, I mean, they've got to be a more complete team than anyone else in the league, right? They got to.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
they don't really have any glaring holes. They're pretty much complete. Patriots, AJ Brown, a little bit under pressure here because, like I said, there was this big hype, and again, we'll speed up through this one because we have we're gonna save your under pressure player for the NFC for final thoughts because I'm interested to see what you're gonna say.
There's gonna be a lot to say about that, but I mean, with AJ Brown, it really comes down to it's not that it's AJ Brown, it's not that it's the Patriots, it's everything that happened last year on the Eagles, right? Now it's okay, fine. Were you worth it? Now Vrabel's the right head coach.
First and fifth round pick, man.
Yeah, and I think it's a year apart. I think it's a first next year and a fifth year after
next year. Yeah.
But he wasn't happy when they were winning in Philly, and the thing is, in a Bob Kraft organization with Mike Vrabel as your head coach, you can't pull shit like that. And I don't remember him particularly pulling shit like that at Tennessee. But the problem is he's been doing it for a couple of years now. And has he shifted as a player and as a man where he now thinks he can do that in an organization where maybe he can't?
Yeah, I mean, look, my thing is the pressure is on the Patriots this year because you're coming off a Super Bowl loss. You have all the off the field stuff with
Vrabel. But it's a Super Bowl they never should have gotten to, right? Young quarterback. No one had them for the Super Bowl. Yeah, but that's why I'm saying. But that's why I'm saying there's no pressure.
If AJ Brown is on that team, does that Super Bowl go a little bit different? I don't necessarily know. I think the offensive line was a big problem in that Super Bowl. But I mean,
wasn't just a lack of receiver. But
there's a lot of pressure on the Patriots this year because being in the area. I know it's going to happen. If this team fails, AJ Brown's going to be one of those dudes that goes off the rails first, and then we're going to hear about all this stuff with like we're gonna it's going to get.
But you are
survived.
Right.
They survived this offseason, dude. They survived.
Yeah, I mean that Vrabel drama was insane.
Yeah.
I had so many friends, my wife, female friends. Dudes like older gay dudes who are not into football that knew about that drama and were following it. Like it leaked out into like the whole
everywhere
of American culture.
It's funny,
that
Ralph,
wasn't just
he sent me a picture of Vrabel and Rossini, and I didn't know who they were. And being that Jenny's family is in Arizona and stuff like that.
Oh, it's one with the Arizona sunset behind them.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. Where you in Arizona? He's like, no, you don't know who that is. I'm like, no. He's like, oh, that's Mike Vrabel. I'm like, oh, no shit. You see Mike Vrabel? That's cool. He goes, no, dude, this is all leaked out. And then I went down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I have a hard hat sticker that says holy shit, dude. I
got one of my best friends.
Holy shit!
One of my best friends is like a 56-year-old gay dude out here in DC, right? Nicest guy. Doesn't care at all about NFL, right? He got to a point where he was like, hey, anything else happen with that stuff? Are there new memes for it? You got any more? Because like he told me, these are the words he used. He goes, it's just so sloppy. He goes, it's just so sloppy. And the shit that kept coming out, right? Because it wasn't just the drama that happened this offseason, right? It was 2020 New York Post pictures that were coming
everywhere.
out. The story had been spiked. And nobody really cared because Vrabel was coaching in Tennessee, so who cares? But all of a sudden, he takes the team to the Super Bowl. He's Belichick's successor, yada, yada, yada. And now everyone in New York City cares about it. It's on page 3 or page 6 or whatever they call it.
Well, speaking of sloppy, let's introduce this new segment to everybody. Ralph, you joined us for this segment. Would you bet on it? NFC South edition. And what this segment is, we're going to ask a couple of questions on each team in the South. And would you bet on it? Would you bet your house on it? So let's get right into it. Would you bet on it? Want to win some money, man. I don't know if we're going to win money here. All right. Would you bet on it? Michael Penix, quarterback 1 for real for the Atlanta Falcons, or is it just going to be like we're going to see Tua come in there eventually this season? Ralph, we'll start off with you. What do you think? Would you bet on this?
No, I wouldn't bet on it. I think you're gonna see Tua. It's kind of like the Falcons made a mistake without saying it, because when they took him with the 8th overall pick, I mean, you can look at the moves they made after they drafted Michael Penix. That'll kind of tell you they made a mistake on Penix without actually saying it, because that year they took Penix. They had just signed Kirk Cousins, so there really was no need to take Penix. You really needed an edge rusher. And then what do? You go and you don't have a first round pick because you traded it to get an edge rusher.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
What would you think when they first drafted Michael Penix? Jamie texted me, but I'm just asking you, what would you first think when they drafted Michael Penix?
What the?
I was just like,
I was like, what the hell they doing? I'm kind of glad they did it, because they was mocked that year to take Dallas Turner,
right,
which was an edge rusher that they needed, and they didn't take him. So I was glad
probably
should
have took him.
They probably should have, but then they go and give up a first round pick to trade back into the first round to get an edge rusher. That's how they messed up by not taking one when they should have.
So you wouldn't bet on that, Michael Penix, quarterback 1. Jamie, what about you?
Look, I think that Penix in that draft was the most talented pure passer. I told you that at the time. I told you before the draft. I watched his footage. I watched, and we've talked about how hard it is to defend a left-handed quarterback. I think this is one of those situations like we talked about earlier with Fields, with Darnold, that Darnold's the outlier because we finally got to see how good he truly is.
Right.
I don't think you're ever going to see on this team how good Penix is or could be, right? Because they have too many holes everywhere.
They got a pretty decent offense. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hate on them that much.
I mean, they got Drake London. What about Pitts? What about Pitts?
Well, would you bet on it? Penix, quarterback 1 for real? Or we're going to see Tua. Would you bet on it?
On this team, or are we going to see Tua? I think we're going to see Tua after Penix gets injured. The real question is, I shouldn't say as I'm a Bama fan, but I don't know that Tua is good enough. I don't think Tua is going to impress enough. I think Penix will go down with an injury. I think Tua will come in for a few games, and I don't think he's going to impress.
So you wouldn't bet on it?
Is he even going to be ready to go to start the season?
Penix?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
I don't know.
I don't know, because he didn't tear the ace. He didn't tear his ACL early in the season. It was kind of later on.
I don't know. We'll see.
But you know how fast these rehabs is now. But
Mike, Kyle Pitts really breaks out this season. Is he a premier tight end in this league? Would you bet on it? Ralph, go ahead.
Nah, I don't think he's gonna break out.
Damn, no love for the Falcons.
Nah,
no love for the Falcons.
I think he's just gonna be, what we seen Kyle Pitts be. And Tua is the quarterback. Well, it don't matter who the quarterback is. I think he's just gonna be what he is. You know what I'm saying? Even with Kevin Stefanski now being the coach, he's just gonna still be what he is.
I actually like the Stefanski hire too, but by the way, Penix has not even been medically cleared for training camp drills, but he is on pace to be ready to play in week 1. But if I'm Stefanski,
I'm not betting on it.
I just start to and avoid some of the drama.
Well, would you bet on it with Pitts?
No, because we have this conversation every year.
Yeah, I mean,
every
against
year.
the Bucs.
Is this year? But he does the same thing every year. He has 2 or 3 games where you go, there he is. That's the guy. 140 yards, uncoverable, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he did finish the season really, really well, but there's been no consistency across his career, so I wouldn't bet on it.
Amazing.
Let's move on to the Saints here. More makes them matter. Does the coaching? Do they get this team back into shape? Are the Saints a threat in the NFC South? Jamie, we'll start with you. Would you bet on it? Are they a threat in the NFC South?
Not this year, but long term. This is the right move, and he will be good there. But I think this year they're going to be improved. But this isn't going to be like I said earlier in the podcast. You take any of these 4 teams in this division, you shuffle them up and you show me that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4 at the end of the season, I'm not surprised by any team.
Right. What about you, Ralph?
Yeah, I think I'm not looking for the Saints to do too much, but like I said, they getting better. Last year there was some games that they should have won that they took a lot of teams to the fourth quarter.
Yep,
How to finish.
100%.
To the Bucks.
Yep.
They don't really know how to finish the game, but they played a lot of teams tough, and it took a lot of teams 4 quarters to beat the Saints last. But I think they're gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? It's just the first, stepping stone towards getting better, adding to the team. Because they was in like hell, they was in financial hell, so they really couldn't do much.
Yeah.
Are they? Have they finally gotten out of it?
I think they're going to recover this year. I think they're finally out of it.
Is this their last year of suffering?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not betting on it. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. Their quarterback here made some noise. Does he shock the South this year with some upset wins? Would you bet on it? I think so. I'm gonna take my chance. I'm gonna shoot my shot. I think they upset the Bucks. I think they upset the Panthers. I'm telling you, I think they're gonna split this division, man. I think they're gonna be competitive.
I mean, with how they've been for the last 4 or 5 years, every win is an upset win, right? They've been down so bad for the last few years that, yeah. I mean, last year was a shocking year. They were better than I thought they were going to be last year.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to shock the South. I don't think he's not passing for 4,600 yards.
Ralph, what do you think? You bet on it?
I'm not gonna say shock. I think he's gonna be pretty solid, but not shock the South to the point where people, because this is second year, so now that people got film on him,
Yeah.
So it's gonna be
a good point.
So I'm not shocked, but he'll be decent to kind of see the growth of the New Orleans Saints and where they're going.
All right, we're gonna head your way, Ralph. Carolina Panthers. Is the Carolina Panthers still a threat? Jamie, we'll start with you. Would you bet on it? Are the Carolina Panthers a threat in the NFC South?
In the NFC South, yes. I would like to see them make the playoffs this year. I think they certainly can. I don't think they're going to be a serious contender this year, but I think they're in a position to really start moving themselves towards, building a serious team. They've got really good players on both sides of the ball now. I mean, Ralph, we talked about it last offseason. You and I disagreed a little bit, and I want to take my flowers that I told you that defense was going to be better than you thought it was. No, they weren't.
It came around. It came around.
Ralph, what do you think? You think they're still a threat? Would you bet on it?
Yeah, I think.
Would you bet your house on it?
Man,
oh, that changes things, huh? Doesn't it?
I would bet, but not house. You know what I'm saying?
My wife would kill me.
It all depends on if Bryce continues to trend in the right direction.
100%.
He can't have a season this coming season like he did the second year in the league. You know what I'm saying? Now that you got expectations, now you made the playoffs. They made they've been drafting well. They went out in free agency and got Jalen Phillips, got Devin Lloyd. They signed the offensive lineman from Green Bay. They drafted one of the best offensive first round. They added some extras in the trenches with Derek Brown in the second round with Lee Hunter. So it added another wide receiver. So as long as Bryce trend in the right direction, and if they can get Xavier Legette to kind of go in the same direction.
Yes, 100%. Thank you. This is a player I feel like we just don't talk about enough on this podcast. Louie knows that I was a little crazy about him before he got drafted, not just because of how awesome his accent is. I watched a lot of his film, and I was like, man, this guy, his upside is so huge.
Yeah.
He's so hard to cover. He can move when he brings it down. He runs good routes. Some of it's got to be on Bryce, right? But what I like about Ralph coming on this podcast is that he's never wrong about anything. And I think
he does a good job, man. Shout out to Ralph, man. You do it.
Seriously, every single thing you said there was like a perfect 5-sentence breakdown of the team. And it's all contingent, right? It's if. And that's, I think, what's lost in so much of the NFL that people refuse to talk about. It's like nothing's guaranteed. It's all ifs. Right?
Well, speaking of loss, Baker Mayfield, would you bet on it? He's an MVP candidate this year. Considering he's going into this season, they don't know. We don't know if he's going to get a contract done. I mean, I see a lot of people. Oh, they're close. They're working on it. Shut the fuck up. You're not in there. You don't know if there's a contract getting done. He said they were very far apart. Some people took his comments and kind of, twisted it, this and that. The way I looked at it is what I think I still have the video. I'm not sure if I do. But what he said was, if we're very far apart, if we can't get a deal done by the end of training camp, by training camp, I don't want to go negotiate a contract. I'm here to win a Super Bowl. I like that. I don't take offense to that. It's a distraction. I don't want to hear
deal with it.
Yeah. So
and we've seen a few players do this over the last few years. Say basically it's either done before we go into the season or it's not. But the caveat being, if it's not, that doesn't mean I'm a turn bitch.
Listen,
and sit on the sideline or refuse to participate.
What's there to talk about right now with Bucs football? What's there to talk about?
Yeah,
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So this is just something that's going to get dragged out. Like, you know what I'm going to be talking about on Buccaneers Breakdown this Sunday at 7? The new voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what I'm talking about.
You.
No. Ralph, would you bet on it? Baker Mayfield an MVP candidate this year?
Nah, I wouldn't say MVP candidate. Good season, based off what he's been in Tampa. But say MVP candidate. It's now you got Emeka Buka. He got to be your number one because you lost
Mike. Yeah.
Mike Evans.
You're thrilled about that.
Yeah. So, you lost one of your running backs.
Yeah, Rashad. He can go. It's all
that
good.
kind of change things. It kind of moves people in a different position. That's gonna it can kind of help Baker, but it can kind of hurt him just as much as it help him. So I'm gonna say MVP, good season, but not MVP. Close, but not.
Jamie, what about you? Would you bet on it?
Oh, 100. I would 100% bet my house that he does not even touch top 3 in MVP voting. My actual house with my wife and children.
We're gonna write that shit down in Jamie's predictions because I'm gonna tell you one thing.
I
think Baker's gonna have a fantastic year this year. I really
do.
And
you know that Baker is one of my favorite players in the NFL.
No, I know.
This is not me shitting on Baker. There's only so long you can play hero ball for. There's only so long you can play through shoulder injuries, and
it's a different team this year. It's a different team.
Yeah, but it's still his body, and it's in a lot worse shape than it was this time last year.
Would you bet on it? Bryce is the true QB1 for the Carolina Panthers.
Yes. Next question.
What about you, Ralph?
Oh, that's a tough one because they hadn't even. I don't even think Carolina. I think they still in kind of like show me mode when it comes to Bryce because they ain't even giving him an extension. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's why I asked. Is he really the true QB1 here?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? There's pressure on you guys this year.
What
you guys won the division.
I don't even know who you guys' backup is, to be honest.
We brought Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And nobody's putting Kenny Pickett in unless they have to. Nobody.
Nobody's putting money on this. Nobody thinks he's the true QB1.
I'm saying 100% he's the true QB1. Now,
I don't think so.
If he has a really bad season, are they going to try and move him?
No. The question is he QB1
for the Panthers? Yes.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, he's QB1 for us, but that's just right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they didn't offer him that. I'm not sure if they're 100% sure if they think he's long term as far as getting a contract extension, making him
right.
But right now, yeah.
Well, that's why I was asking for the clarification. Like, I don't necessarily think he's the QB1 in 3 years, but this year, without question.
Okay. So, last but not least, the NFC South. Who's going to win the NFC South? Do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the NFC South this year? I'm going to ask you, Jamie, real quickly. Would you bet on the Buccaneers winning the South? They upgraded the defense. Reuben Bain looks fantastic. Josiah Trotter, I think, wearing 45, taking Devin White's old number. I think the defense is very much improved. I think it's going to take a little bit for them to get their act together. But I think this is going to be a Buccaneers team that's going to be tough to beat. I'm not saying they're going to be the best team in the NFL, but I think they're going to be a top 13 team in the NFL. I think they make
I'm rooting for them.
I think they take the South.
I'm rooting for them. And, there's not a ton of competition in the South. But, I think the Buccaneers...
I disagree. I think the South got a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think the Buccaneers have gotten worse. The other team's gotten better, but I don't think any of the other teams are like great teams.
So you ain't betting on it.
Bucs win in the South. Well, I've said multiple times this podcast, I can't tell you of the 4 teams who I really think is going to be first. And, I suspect it's probably going to be Saints at the bottom But with all the things that have happened at the Falcons, it could be them. But also, the Falcons could figure it out early and end up first. Look, I think it's potentially the most exciting division in football to watch this year. But
Ralph,
do
what
I
about
have
you?
a clear answer? No.
Ralph, what about you? Would you bet on it?
I'm taking my guys to win the South.
Damn. All
Ride or
right.
die.
Well,
Ride or
I
die.
mean, no, that's good. I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? And that's that for Would You Bet on it, NFC South edition. This is something, guys, that we're going to be doing throughout the season. I think next week, you guys, I don't know, we'll talk. We'll figure out which segment what division we'll cover. Maybe we do the AFC South next week. Would you bet on it? Ralph, I'm going to let you get out of here. I know it's getting late. We're going to wrap this up with Jamie's final thoughts. But Ralph, my guy, I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to you coming on on Around the NFL. We're going to be doing State of the South. I'm excited to be doing that. Let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on.
I'm on IG, _YouTube_sports talk. The same thing on X, YouTube, _YouTube sports talk. Got all the reels, got all the, short vids. Everything you need to know is on those, social media platforms.
I got you all your stuff right there, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I got all your stuff. How do you like I modified your logo a little bit, sharpened it up.
You got my Carolina colorways in there.
Yeah. I had to do it courtesy of State of the South, man. All right, Ralph, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on here on the Frozen Pirate podcast on Around the NFL, man. And we got to get you down there to the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo.
Yeah, I got to make my way.
Yeah, man. Like I said, maybe you get into enemy lines there, man. You get to talk to some of these old Buccaneers.
I'm trying to make it down there later on when we play y'all in Tampa.
So that's something that I was thinking about doing. I asked my girl if she wanted to go to Carolina to watch the Panthers and the Buccaneers play. I think it's early in the season, so we got to figure something. We'll figure something out. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, man.
I appreciate you. All right, fellas.
Absolutely. That's Ralph of Damn YouTube Sports Talk. Make sure you guys go follow him. We're going to wrap this up. But before we do, there's some stuff that we left on the table, guys. Be patient with us. This is the pilot. You guys remember watching The Sopranos, the first episode? You were kind of like, The Office. That took, 6-7 episodes to really start. Like, okay, just listen. It's the pilot. We got a lot of cool stuff.
And thank you for listening to our excuses. Now for the next segment.
Yeah. Now for the next segment. So Jamie, nervous Bears fan here. There's high expectations for the Chicago Bears. I think they're going to win the division next year. I think they're going to represent the NFC North. I think Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are a force to be reckoned with. But Jamie's final thoughts, buddy, you're gonna end the show. You are the main event. You are the grand finale. Why do you pick Caleb Williams to be under pressure this year? I'm gonna let you go full screen, buddy. Let everybody know. Let me fix that for you.
I could sign off right now by just saying 2 words, and every football fan would understand this immediately. And those 2 words would be Madden curse.
Oh.
Right now, my Bills fans friends say Josh Allen broke the curse. That may be the case. I think I love Caleb. I think he had an amazing season. Obviously, best Bears quarterback single season ever. But if you watched all the games, and the thing for non-Bears fans, that you saw these incredible highlights, right? He's in his positions. He's bailing out. Unbelievable throw to the back of the end zone. He's getting, he's in those positions for a reason. And it's because when he has a clean pocket and a wide open receiver, he throws the ball 3 yards over his head. He doesn't know how to play not on the run. He can't throw just a regular drive off the back foot, rotate the hips throw. Not that he can't. I think it's just that he's lived off of that scramble throw across the body for so long. Look, he's incredible at it. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But he needs to learn how to be a boring quarterback. He needs to learn how to just sit there, take the 12-yard pass, get the first down, wear the defense out. you know, like I said earlier in the podcast, there's only so long you can live off of hero ball. And I have faith. I think if we had any other head coach, I would think, man, this was a really fun season, but things are going to really fall apart next year. I think Ben Johnson has the right mindset. I think we built the team the right way. He's got so many safe outlets now. Luther Burden came along well. We've got 2 tall tight ends, which is Ben Johnson's dream.
Paid offensive line.
We've got a good offensive line. You know, unfortunately, our center had a first Pro Bowl year.
Shout out to our guy, our good friend Ian Beckles, man. He always says it, in the trenches. That's his show, In the Trenches. But he came on the show and he says it. Games are won in the trenches.
Yeah.
You had that fantastic fact, Jamie.
Yeah.
An offensive line that's played together for more than 5 years has always won a Super Bowl. So, I mean.
Yeah, and that's harder and harder these days because, you know, contracts are 4 or 5 years. And so if someone plays really, really well for 4 or 5 years, they're going to get paid a ton of money to go somewhere else. But I you know, our center retired unexpectedly. And that was tough, but I think he did it. I think the team knew he was going to do it. I don't think he did it in a bad way or anything. I think he just was looking after his health, but he's only 27. You know, so, you know, with the Bears, we'll see. But the thing is, the spirit of the team, everyone in the city is just Caleb.
He's
All
made some
everyone talks about,
fantastic throws, though.
incredible throws, but he's putting himself in positions over and over and over again where he has to make fantastic throws because he's never just taking the first down.
But that fourth quarter throw, man.
I know. I know.
I was just like, holy shit. Like,
right.
I
and
get these people.
Right. And Louie, who won the game?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you guys are like this close away.
I turned to my wife when he completed that throw, and I the first thing I said to her, I said, and we're still gonna, I said we're still gonna lose. And that's Bears football.
Yeah,
right.
Bears.
I mean, that's the most famous throw of last season, right? That's one of the better throws of the last 10 years as far as like unbelievable highlight quality.
Right.
And and everyone is gonna forget that we lost that game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, it sucks. But the good thing is, buddy, it's the 2026 season. This is the pilot, the first episode of Around the NFL. And there's a lot more to come. And it's going to be one hell of a season, man, coming up, man. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited for Around the NFL. We have Buccaneers Breakdown this Sunday at 7. Don't know what we're going to talk about. It's still slow. But shout out to our guy, Troy, man. Thank you for joining us on Around the NFL, man. Like that. It's
very strong addition.
Yes, very strong, and I'm happy that it's working out, man. I really am. With all that being said, guys, please treat each other with kindness and just be a good human being, man. And like I said, like and subscribe to the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Smash that like button. Follow us on all major platforms. Frozen Pirate Podcast out. Peace.
Woo! So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Fire the cannon, Bucks!
All right, let me get the fuck out of here.